Think Olympic gymnasts have it tough? Wait until you meet the IT specialist who decided to prove his ninja skills by vaulting over a conference table during a company retreat. From office catastrophes to beach bonfire disasters, we're serving up 10 tales of liquid courage, meeting reality in the most painful ways possible that'll make your worst work stories seem like fairy tales. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another absolutely jaw-dropping episode of Wow Amazing. Today, we're diving deep into Volume 4 of our top 10 most epic Hold My Beer moments that went horribly, hilariously, and painfully wrong. But before we jump into these liquid courage disasters that prove alcohol and ambition should never mix, make sure you absolutely demolish that subscribe button and ring that notification bell like your reputation depends on it. Trust me, after watching these catastrophic failures, you'll want to see what other disasters humanity can cook up. Number 10, the garage gymnast. We're kicking off our countdown with a tale that gives new meaning to home improvement projects. A 27-year-old auto mechanic was wrapping up in his garage when buddies stopped by with beer and zero good ideas. After watching Olympic gymnastics on TV, our friend decided to demonstrate his natural coordination. "Hold my beer," he announced. "I'll nail a backflip off this workbench like a professional athlete." His plan? Use the workbench as a launching platform, execute a perfect backflip, and stick the landing on a pile of old tires. The backflip started strong with impressive height and decent rotation. For one glorious second, it seemed possible. The problem? His garage floor was covered in grease and oil from years of automotive work. When he landed, his feet hit the slick surface and immediately betrayed him. He rotated too far, slammed backward into his tool chest with an echoing crash, and scattered wrenches like painful confetti. The momentum sent him stumbling into extension cords hanging on the wall. Paramedics found him tangled in electrical cords, nursing a twisted ankle and sporting a perfect toolbox imprint on his forehead. His friends renamed the garage the Arena of Broken Dreams and made him a commemorative sign. The forehead imprint lasted 2 weeks as a daily reminder that Olympic gymnastics and greasy garage floors don't mix. Number 9, the beach bonfire boss. Beach parties are supposed to be relaxing evenings with friends and maybe a casual bonfire. Our next champion, a 34-year-old lifeguard, decided to turn peaceful gathering into what firefighters called an unauthorized pyrotechnic display. At a beach party with friends, people complained their bonfire was too small and boring. Our beach safety expert had the solution. "Hold my beer," he declared. "I'll turn this pathetic fire into a real inferno you'll remember forever." His plan? Pour gasoline onto the flames for a dramatic flare-up. What he forgot in his beer-in-hand state was every single thing about fire safety and why gasoline and open flames create disaster. The resulting whoosh shot flames 6 feet in the air. For 2 seconds, he looked like a fire-wielding genius. Then the backdraft caught his swimsuit on fire and spread to nearby beach umbrellas. Within seconds, partygoers were scrambling toward water, umbrellas were flaming torches, and our bonfire boss was doing an impromptu fire dance nobody requested. Friends tackled him and rolled him in sand while others stomped out flaming umbrellas. Firefighters found him sitting in the surf, covered in sand and foam, surrounded by charred beach furniture. He spent the night explaining to rangers why a beach safety expert thought adding gasoline to bonfires was smart. Number 8, the office acrobat. Corporate team-building retreats are designed to strengthen workplace relationships through carefully planned activities. This 29-year-old IT specialist decided to add his own unauthorized activity that strengthened nothing except coworkers' doubts about his judgment. At the company retreat's liquid lunch, coworkers joked that office workers couldn't do anything athletic anymore. Our IT hero saw his moment to shine. "Hold my beer," he announced. "I'll show you some real athletic ability." His plan? Vault over the entire conference table, grab a donut from the other side, and land like an action hero. The vault started surprisingly well. He cleared the first half with decent form, but his trailing foot caught the table edge, sending him spinning into the projector screen. He crashed through it, then catapulted into laptops on a nearby table, scattering them like expensive dominoes. The CEO walked in to find carnage, scattered laptops, destroyed screen, and one sheepish IT specialist picking hardware from his coffee-stained shirt. The aftermath: 4 laptop replacements, 1 totaled projector screen, and permanent company policy changes. Every meeting agenda now includes no flips, vaults, or acrobatic demonstrations allowed. His legacy was literally written into company policy as a warning. Number 7, the fishing fanatic. Fishing is supposed to be relaxing. This 31-year-old accountant decided traditional methods were for amateurs, and that real outdoorsmen catch fish barehanded like beer-fueled nature documentary hosts. Out on the lake, several cans deep, a massive fish jumped 20 feet from their boat. Everyone discussed casting toward that spot, but our accountant had different ideas. "Hold my beer," he announced. "I'll catch that beast with my bare hands like a real outdoorsman." His plan: dive overboard, swim stealthily, wait for the fish to surface, then snatch it mid-leap with bear-like reflexes. The dive was actually pretty good. Clean entry, minimal splash. He surfaced gasping because the water was colder than expected. The fish was nowhere to be seen. Worse, the boat had drifted away in the current, and the engine had stalled. His friends spent 20 minutes searching for him while he struggled with hypothermia. When they finally fished him out 2 hours later, he was exhausted, freezing, and thoroughly humbled. The marina manager instituted a lifetime ban for endangering wildlife and himself in equal measure, and suggested he stick to catching numbers and spreadsheets. Number 6, the wedding wrestler. Weddings are carefully planned celebrations for creating cherished memories. This 26-year-old gym bro decided to create memories nobody wanted to preserve or speak of again. At his cousin's reception, the open bar was flowing generously. Guests joked about pro wrestling moves looking fake on TV. Our muscle-bound hero saw his opportunity. "Hold my beer," he proclaimed. "I'll show you a real wrestling move right here, right now." His plan? Perform a perfect suplex on the best man, landing him safely on stacked empty chairs. The initial lift worked perfectly with impressive strength. Then gravity and poor planning took over. They crashed onto the chair stack, which collapsed instantly. Their momentum sent them sliding into the cake table. The multi-tiered wedding cake went airborne, flipped, and exploded across the dance floor in spectacular frosting devastation. Worst part? The bride was standing nearby and took a full frosting wave across her white gown. The reception went silent. The groom helped his frosting-covered bride to the bathroom, while guests heard them debating through the door whether pressing charges was justified. Our wrestler spent hours apologizing while sporting a black eye, but the damage to family relationships was permanent. He was uninvited from future family events, and the wedding became known as the one where Kevin destroyed the cake table with a suplex. Number 5, the rooftop Romeo. First dates are nerve-wracking. This 25-year-old bartender was at a trendy rooftop bar, date going reasonably well, but he wanted to create an unforgettable moment. After several drinks, he decided to serenade his date from the decorative ledge, a foot-wide surface not designed for standing. "Hold my beer," he whispered. "I'm about to give you a moment straight out of a romantic movie." He grabbed an unattended guitar, climbed over safety railings, and positioned himself on the narrow ledge. His plan: balance in the moonlight, strum romantically, and melt her heart. Problems started immediately. First, he couldn't play guitar. He'd assumed moonlight and confidence would compensate. Second, he hadn't accounted for wind. The gentle breeze became a significant force 3 stories up. His strumming sounded like a cat falling downstairs. Then wind gusts turned his romantic balancing act into a desperate survival struggle. He teetered wildly, unable to reach the railing while holding the guitar. In panic, he threw the guitar toward the roof. It sailed over the edge, plummeting 3 stories and exploding on the sidewalk below. Now guitar-free but no safer, he lunged for the railing, grabbing it with all the grace of a koala in a hurricane. Security hauled him back while his date was already leaving. The aftermath? A hefty fine, an $800 guitar bill, lifetime ban from rooftop bars citywide, and a newly developed fear of heights. Number 4, the skateboard samurai. Skate parks are designed for gradual skill progression. This 22-year-old student, skating casually for 6 months, decided progression was for amateurs after watching pro videos on his phone. At the park with buddies, beers in backpacks, he watched rail grind videos between tricks. After his third beer, the gap between watching pros and becoming one seemed remarkably small. "Hold my beer," he yelled. "I'm about to shred this bench like an absolute legend." His plan: build serious speed, execute a perfect ollie onto the bench, slide its entire length, and dismount with style. The approach went great with impressive speed. The ollie went wrong, half the needed height, completely wrong angle. His front wheels clipped the bench edge instead of clearing it. The board stopped dead, but his body kept going. He went from skating to flying, performing an unintentional somersault with zero control directly into a thorny decorative bush. The bush welcomed him like a cactus convention. He became thoroughly embedded, thorns finding every exposed bit of skin in several places that weren't supposed to be exposed. Park maintenance spent 15 minutes extracting him. Paramedics removed thorns from places thorns should never be. He spent 3 hours in emergency getting dethorned and receiving a tetanus shot. The park installed a fence around the bush with a sign reading, "Skate at your own risk. Bushes bite back," which everyone knows is specifically because of him. His skateboard now hangs on his wall as a reminder of mortality and knowing your skill level. Number 3, the balcony bullfighter. Apartment parties usually keep poor decisions indoors. This 35-year-old salesman took his judgment outside, literally, from a 4th-floor balcony. At a friend's party, he'd been drinking steadily when someone noticed a loose decorative flag waving from the 3rd-floor balcony below. Casual observations, filtered through alcohol, transformed into a challenge demanding immediate action. "Hold my beer," he announced. "I'll grab that flag like a matador catching a bull." Friends immediately protested. He was 4 stories up, the flag was below, and reaching over balconies while drunk was basically asking to become a headline. He climbed on a chair, leaned over the railing with arm extended, reaching for the dancing flag. Friends grabbed his legs to anchor him, but their grip was compromised by their own drinking. The flag teased him, flapping closer, then pulling away. He leaned farther, stretching to his limit. That's when gravity filed its complaint and his friend's grip failed simultaneously. He tumbled over the railing in slow motion. 4 stories is a long way to fall. What saved him? A large decorative bush directly below that cushioned his fall but scratched every visible and invisible bit of skin. Neighbors found our urban matador embedded in their landscaping, covered in leaves, scratches, and profound regret. He got a bill for replacing the destroyed bush, which cost more than expected. The building installed additional safety railings with signs warning about balcony acrobatics. Everyone knows these additions are specifically because of Balcony Matador Guy. The only thing he successfully caught was a reputation as the neighborhood's cautionary tale. Number 2, the camping chef. Camping trips are opportunities to enjoy nature and cook over campfires using techniques humans perfected over thousands of years. This 29-year-old foodie decided traditional camping cuisine needed a fine dining upgrade. On a wilderness camping trip sharing moonshine, someone brought marshmallows for s'mores. Our wilderness chef felt disappointed. Regular s'mores were too ordinary. "Hold my beer," he insisted. "I'm about to show you gourmet s'mores like you've never experienced." His plan: create professional camping flambe by torching marshmallows with lighter fluid for caramelized finish. Friends immediately protested. Lighter fluid is toxic, not food grade, and combining it with food was basically poisoning with extra steps. But he insisted he knew what he was doing, having seen flambe on TV dozens of times. He loaded marshmallows onto skewers and gave them a generous lighter fluid spray. The ignition created a fireball shooting backward toward the bottle in his hand. The lighter fluid stream became a fuse leading to the source. He dropped it in panic, but it was already spraying flaming fluid like the world's most dangerous sprinkler. Flames caught their tent, which turned out remarkably flammable despite fire-resistant labels. Within seconds, the tent was producing black smoke and flames shooting higher than surrounding trees. The flaming marshmallows had been flung into woods, creating spot fires. Our chef tried to help but mostly ran around frantically while his 6-month-old beard caught fire from the original attempt. Friends beat out his burning beard with camping towels. Park rangers arrived to find a destroyed tent still smoldering, scattered fires, and one singed foodie with half a beard sitting in dirt looking shell-shocked. The aftermath was expensive. $400 destroyed tent, over $1,000 in restoration bonus, and lifetime ban from state camping areas. His beard had to be completely shaved. 6 months of growth gone in a fireball of culinary ambition. Rangers added his incident to training materials as an example of what not to do in wilderness areas. His face is now in PowerPoint presentations shown to new Rangers as a cautionary tale. Number 1. The Bike Bandit. Bicycle riding is a basic skill most children master early. Yet this 30-year-old cycling enthusiast transformed simple transportation into a catastrophe that would make kids on training wheels cringe. After a neighborhood ride, his just one beer at the local pub multiplied, dissolving his respect for physics. When friends mentioned a notorious hill nearby, our champion saw opportunity. "Hold my beer," he boasted. "I'll show you how that hill should be ridden. No hands, no brakes, no problem." At the top, he pushed off. The first seconds went well, hands lifted, bike stable, speed increasing. Problems began at the first curve. Without hands or brakes, he relied on weight shifting. This works at moderate speeds, but at his velocity, it was like steering a rocket with a glare. He survived the first curve through luck. The second curve was sharper. He leaned, overcorrected, and the bike wobbled violently. Then came the pothole. Not a small one, but a big, deep hole that looked like it could be a small pool. At his speed, that pothole became a launch ramp. He and the bike separated mid-flight, each pursuing its own tragic trajectory. Our rider spun through the air with arms and legs all over the place. Luckily, the helmet saved him from serious head injury, but couldn't protect the rest of his road-rashed body. Paramedics found him conscious but in agony. The bike was totaled. A damaged parked car added property costs to his tab. Emergency staff cleaned his wounds while lecturing about cycling while intoxicated. His scars became his new tattoo, permanent reminders of his foolish descent. His cracked helmet now sits on a garage shelf beside a photo of his injuries captioned, "The most expensive free bike ride ever." Bonus entry. As a special bonus, let's talk about someone who turned a music festival into a personal security nightmare that's still talked about at every venue in the area. Last summer, a 29-year-old music fanatic was at an outdoor festival, fully immersed in the crowd surfing, beer-drinking chaos. He'd been riding the wave of crowd surfers for the past hour when he decided that simply being in the audience wasn't enough. "Hold my beer," he shouted to the crowd around him. "I'm about to join the band up there." His plan? Scale the security barriers, sprint across the stage, grab a microphone, and become an impromptu band member. In his imagination, the crowd would go wild, and he'd have the concert moment of a lifetime. What he failed to account for was that festival security guards are specifically trained to stop exactly this type of behavior. They had already stopped 17 other drunk fans from stage invasions that night alone. He pushed through the crowd, built up speed, and launched himself at the metal barricades with misguided confidence. His beer-soaked hands slipped on the metal, and his coordination was somewhere between impaired and non-existent. Security spotted him instantly. 3 guards converged with professional efficiency. He made it approximately 4 feet up before a guard grabbed his belt and yanked him backward. The momentum sent him flying in an arc that ended with a spectacular faceplant directly into the mud pit in front of the stage. The impact splash hit several nearby concertgoers, and somehow the sound carried over the music. Security escorted him out while he tried to explain through a mud-filled mouth that he just wanted to contribute to the music. The guards were unimpressed. The festival manager delivered the bad news: lifetime ban from this festival and all associated venues. His face was added to a security database that local festivals shared. His attempt at concert glory lasted 15 seconds, from barrier grab to mud faceplant, but the consequences were permanent. His friends still send him photos from inside the festival with captions like, "Wish you were here." And there you have it, Volume 4 of the most jaw-dropping, hold my beer moments that prove liquid courage and good judgment don't mix well. Hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. You don't want to miss a single episode of our mind-blowing content that proves truth really is stranger than fiction. Until next time, stay safe, stay smart, and remember, If you ever feel the urge to say, "Hold my beer," maybe just hold on to it instead. Your future self will thank you, and you'll have much better stories to tell at the next party.